interwebs. Tis I, Sebastian Machoni, and this is F3G2 coming at you from the back of Famous Faces and Funnies and Get Your Phone On here on weird Mr. Freeze figures being waved in my face that you can't see, so you don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Mr. Freeze figure looking all animated series. So cool. Mr. Freeze. Alright, let's jump right in because my daughter's doing a concert tonight, so I gotta go watch my baby sing. I ain't got time for this. I ain't got time for telling you about comic books. Alright. Amazing Spider-Man number 11 is, first off, it's number 11, and as we all know, it's my favorite number. What? You didn't know that? Pfft. You were the worst cyber stalkers ever. Okay, it's good in parts. See, basically the parts that are actual story are really, really good, but a lot of it is still just little lead-ins that end with, you know, see this spin-off, see that spin-off. Spin-off is even funny because they're spiders. But see this spin-off series, this mini-series, this book, this series, that. So it's almost like an ad for itself, and really there's only half of this is actual moving the story along, and the rest of it is stuff that just leads into and/or rehashes stuff from some of the spin-offs, which is amusing and ironic if you consider the story they did where they made fun of the newspaper strip, because the newspaper strip always has, you know, a panel of rehash, a new panel, and then a panel, and then an end panel that is rehashed, and then new, and then rehash, and new, and rehash, and new. And that's almost what they're doing so far. The new stuff is good. It's just I really think that they may have spread this a little too thin and went, you know, too much and too much different direction and not enough, you know, core story. As its own thing, Spider-Verse Team Up, awesome, because I get why they're doing this. You know, one, it leads you into buying all this other stuff, but two, if you don't buy this other stuff, you have at least enough of a jumping on or jumping off point to know why some characters just showed up, where they came from, or where they're headed to. But this, standing on its own, actually reads better than this that seems to keep getting, you know, tripping over itself with getting disrupted by lead-ins to the other series. So the first story is by Christos Gage and Dave Williams, and it's one of the stories that leads straight out of this and has Ultimate Spider-Man from the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon and Ultimate Spider-Man Miles Morales from the Ultimate Spider-Man comic team up and go into the old 60s cartoon where they meet 60s cartoon Peter and find out that he's basically willing to accept anything zany, and there's some cool interactions there. Then the backup story by Jerry Conway and Steven Sanders, nice painted looking art, really good kind of role reversal, if you will. Peter meets, I mean, Gwen, Spider-Gwen goes back and to another world and meets a Peter who also lost his Gwen, whereas she lost her Peter. But he lost Gwen and then killed the Green Goblin and then got rid of Spider-Man and became the new Green Goblin and is kind of a not-so-crazy villain guy and has his chance to redeem himself, so that was pretty good. Also, Ultimate Heartbreak, I will spoil this because of all the things that were done that I could forgive. Damn you, Dan Slott, you killed Spider-Monkey from that whole monkey spin-off. But based on the fact that Marvel has so many, you know, literally infinite worlds, I've decided that somewhere out there is a Spider-Monkey, and that this Spider-Monkey was not the one that I met and liked. So it doesn't matter who you kill. You're also Marvel. You kill somebody today and they're back tomorrow. So I could get all, no, you killed some of my favorite character versions of multiple, but it doesn't matter. It's Marvel. We killed Wolverine. Sure you did. You know, somebody's dead today. Hell, Eunice the Untouchable was back in an issue today. So, you know what? Screw it. Doesn't matter. And that issue that he was back in is, oh my god, Spider-Man and the X-Men #1, which was good. I wasn't sure what to make of this when they solicited for it. And it was good, but it wasn't great. I'm hoping that it gets better and picks up from here. Spidey gets a job as the guidance counselor, and for whatever reason, all the X-Men apparently currently hate Spidey. and not even with the usual, oh, we're mad at you because of things you did as superior Spidey. They just apparently hate Spidey. So, whatevs. And they're and they're just hating on Spidey, and he's trying to guidance counsel the kids who are also hating on Spidey, and then Stegron and Sauron show up, which is, oddly enough, the Stegron-Sauron team-up is the part of this book that made the most sense. There's a lot of potential here. It just hasn't tapped into most of it yet, and I'm going to give it a few more issues, see if they hit it. Batman Eternal, number 36. Well, I'm still really, really liking the Batman Eternal stuff. I'm liking pretty much everything Batman. We get the reveal of who the bad guy behind the bad guy behind the bad guy behind the bad guy is. And it's a bad guy we just saw a whole lot of. What the hell, I'll spoil it for you. In 3, 2, 1, if you don't like spoilers, go away, don't look. It's totally the Riddler. It's the Riddler. Which we just had the year-long Batman years, the 0 year story of, you know, so on the one hand it seems like it's just, you know, it's the Riddler again, but on the other hand it's you know, it makes sense. We just spun out of a big Riddler story, so naturally that laid the foundation for whereas the Joker is nuts and is Batman's greatest enemy. A lot of people have explored this before, and Scott Snyder has really perfected the fact that the Riddler is like Batman's absolute antithesis. He's as smart as Batman, he's as clever as Batman, and whereas Batman is a great detective at finding clues, Riddler is a great riddle master at leaving twisted clues that are challenging enough for Batman. Plus, he's been running Batman ragged. Riddler really pulled the Bane in this. He's done the I'll break the Batman. You know, Bane did it by I'll let out everybody and it'll break. Riddler did it with I'll throw so many things at Batman that he won't even be able to think straight, and clues that should be right in front of him he's gonna miss, and it's working. Batgirl number 37. Weirdest Batgirl story ever. I really liked it. Possibly my favorite issue of the new Batgirl direction. We find out who's been impersonating Batgirl, and it's a hell of a thing. And I like this little stylized art. And this whole changeover has been good, but this is the one that really won me over. This is the one I like the most. Guardians of the Galaxy, the Frank Cho issue. What do you need to know? It's a Frank Cho issue. It's a bizarre story involving Skrulls versus life model decoys, as narrated by bookends of Carol Danvers phoning home to basically tell the Avengers that she misses them. Tender moment with Groot. Lots of fun moments with with just life model decoys versus Skrulls. It's a whole lot of people who are not as they appear to be, and the what do you call it? The Guardians trying to figure all this out, and some real old school SHIELD agents because of the life model decoys. Pretty fun. New Warriors number 12, final issue, is the worst comic ever because it's the final issue, and I cried. But it leaves room for, you know, they don't disband. The Warriors exist as the New Warriors. They even talk about expanding, and then it says you'll see some contradictory to that. It says, hey, you know, we're expanding, but in the letters column, the editor talks about how, you know, you'll see some of the characters, you know, sooner than not. Keep your eyes peeled. Your favorites will be popping up again sooner than you think. So they may be putting them somewhere else, but hopefully they'll be they'll be still intact as New Warriors and not just, you know.
I'd be surprised if they don't at least use Kane.
But they've got them. You know, they've even got some interesting. I don't know if they're supposed to be from the past or people coming back, but when Justice tells Old Cap we're going to expand, it shows this picture of the current team, also joined by what looks like Namorita, Rage, and Night Thrasher, and clearly Namorita is not Sea Snake because she's still over here. And there's the whole current team, but there's some of our old faves. So Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? Savage Dragon,
ooh, big one.
number 200, the $8.99 200th issue, was exactly what Savage Dragon is. It was so much fun. Things you never thought you'd get to say. There's some almost uncomfortable, awkward, crazy Malcolm Dragon sex parties. I don't know how else to tell you. Followed by a discussion of it in front of his father that makes his stepsister, not blood sister. That's important to the crazy sex that happens within you. It makes her very uncomfortable. There's also some, there's a whole lot of supporting stories. So you have a standard size main story, but then you have some great, not actually interlocking, but all, they flow nicely, the order that these stories were put in. So you even got one that's, one's Eric Larson wrote it and drew it, and Herb Trimpe inked it. Another one, Eric Larson wrote it and inked it, and Herb Trimpe drew it. So they kind of take some turns back and forth there. You've got some Mr. Glum and Angel by Eric Larson and Chris Burnham. There are a whole bunch of little, like, one-page things. This, I don't know who the artist is on this. I have to relook, but they just became one of my favorites. Nikos Koutsis did this whole kind of here's everybody story. Really, really good. There's one with Savage Dragon and the football team, or Malcolm Dragon and the football team. Who drew that? I like him too. Travis Sengos. Just really, really good issue. I don't know who Lightning Bug is, as she takes on, what is it, Wild Hair? What's she called? Yeah, it's Lightning Bug versus Wild Hair. Don't know who either of those characters were. Really like that story. It's, and then of course you've got the Golden Age Daredevil and Vanguard. Great issue. Savage Dragon, one of my favorites. It's. I used to call it a guilty pleasure, and then I came out as a huge Dragon fan, and now it's no longer a guilty pleasure. It's just an open, honest. I don't care. It's old school,
amazing
image,
goodness. And
I just love Savage Dragon. And every time I read Savage Dragon, you can't help but be reminded. If you like some of the more, if you like Invincible, if you like that kind of stuff, you wouldn't have that without
Savage Dragon.
Savage Dragon, and not just because Eric Larson, helped Robert Kirkman get it, but because the Savage Dragon book opened the door for that kind of stuff. So let's see. The Valiant #1 was really, really good. You've got the back page has a good breakdown of who's in it. So let's go with that. Eternal Warrior, the Geomancer, Bloodshot, Armstrong, Neville Alcott of MI6, and Exo Man of War, all kind of coming together as there is this, not quite demon, I don't know what it is, this demon of entropy is what we'll call it, this kind of antithesis of life that fights the Eternal Warrior, basically by just shows up every so many years and kills the Geomancer. Just whoever it is, just kills it and goes away. And every time Eternal Warrior tries to stop it, it doesn't work. So now it's going to end up, he says, but each time he learns and he's a little more ready, and then it never works. But this time he's going to be in there with Bloodshot, Armstrong, Exo Man of War, the Geomancer herself, and some MI6 trying to stop this thing from killing the new Geomancer. So it's good. Justice League United #7 continues to not live up to the greatness this book should be. I mean, it's Jeff Lemire. That should be awesome, and it is potentially awesome, but it never quite reaches it. But right now we've got the Legion in there, so that kind of bumps the awesome factor automatically. There's a lot of moments that I just feel like I really should be liking that just aren't connecting the way they should, and I can't actually pinpoint what it is that's making them misfire. But it's like all the right ingredients are there, but somehow you're like, it's like I just made the same soup, last week, but here's all the same stuff. I did everything the same, but it's not blending right. I don't know what it is, and that's what's going on there. Axis number 7. I honestly don't remember most of what happened in here.
Why do you keep reading those?
To be completely honest, I don't know why I keep reading Axis. I just keep wanting it to get better. I don't remember most of what happened in here, except for the fact that clearly, you know, like I said, it's Marvel. Somebody dies, it's clearly less than permanent. But Apocalypse basically rips Deadpool's head off. So that's the thing. Thor. First off, this new Thor, I'm a little slow. It took me to issue number 3 to notice. I love this new logo. And I only noticed it because at the end, when the now called Odin's Son original Thor shows up, they say next issue Thor versus Thor, and they show, you know, the Thor, the classic Thor logo, and the new Thor logo where the H is kind of perforated. It's made an H. It's 2 columns perforated by the hilt of Mjolnir, and the O is the head of Mjolnir. And that's pretty freaking clever, and so obvious and yet simple that it should just, you know, I don't understand why no one did that earlier. I don't know what it is. It's just a me thing. I skimmed most of this. There's something about this book is just not holding me, and I find I'm just reading like every like one panel per page is really all I'm actually taking in. I don't know why. It's another book that I can't say what it is. I sort of like the art and sort of don't. But I don't know. This something just isn't holding me. I don't know. Bitch Planet. Kelly Sue DeConnick. There's a prison planet just for women. You know, we've populated space, but we've got a whole planet of and it's this is less Orange is the New Black in space and more
Ultra Prison?
I was gonna say it's more Oz, but it's more, you know, Lady Oz in space. Kelly Sue DeConnick writes the hell out of it. The characters are already interesting, and yeah, I'm feeling pretty non-compliant. Bitch Planet. Afterlife with Archie Comics. Alright, Afterlife with Archie, number 7. Finally a new issue. Everybody's having weird dreams of Sabrina. So clearly this is separate. It's a whole separate, you know, continuity than the Sabrina comic, it seems. And they're ready to have, you know, Sabrina come back. We get a lot of Betty reminiscing. And then we find out a little more behind Cheryl Blossom. And she has kind of a breakthrough. She breaks right through somebody. And it just continues to be dark and great. There's, you know, very little zombies. It's literally become like a Walking Dead plot with the Archie characters. And that's not trying to take away from it or making it sound like rehashed material. It's actually just, it's so awesome that way. Because these are characters that we already know and are seeing them in a whole different light. And well
He's
done.
good.
Well done. Copperhead, number 4. I love this book. I love this book. Space Western. Really, best way to describe it. They're on the hunt. Alright, so her son went missing. He was found by a native artificial human called Ishmael. Ishmael drops the son off safe, goes back out into the Badlands, and she's going after him, even though the son's like, I hope you don't catch him, because she's like, I think he's involved in this crime, and the son's like, well, I don't care, he saved me. But it's so good. It's like a Western mystery on an alien planet. It's a likable version of what the hell's that show on Sci-Fi? The Western Sci-Fi aliens with the, they have like, it's like a future Earth and San Francisco's a
Defiance?
That's the one. I don't like that.
It's a good ship.
It's not. You're
Yes,
lying.
it is.
You're wrong.
Yes, it is.
It's no.
Yes,
Defiance. I defy you about it being good. It's not a good show.
it is.
People say Supernatural's a good show too. I don't believe them either.
It is.
It's not. I tried. I really tried. I really wanted to like Defiance, but each episode hurt me more because clearly everyone on there learned to act from watching soap operas, and not like training or being on soap operas, just watching them, and it just hurt. It just hurt.
Oh no, I'll give you there's a fair amount of that, but it's gotten better. It has gotten better.
it just hurt me. So it's good that there's something of that same vein, but done really, really well, and that's Copperhead. Hex number 5 continues to be the greatest book you're not reading. Go buy Hex. This is it's I'll tell you the same thing every time. Buffy and Constantine have a daughter. She grows up with attitude and becomes a master supernatural thief. She is employed to help find supernatural artifacts that you don't want the wrong people to have, and that's what she does. And this is without going back and explaining previous miniseries and her appearances in Call of Cthulhu. I can't, and Fall of Cthulhu, I guess. I can't really explain all the nuances necessary to understand why you need to like this. You can read this and like it without knowing all of that because it will cover anything you need to know in, this is issue number what? 5? Within these 5 issues, it gives you everything you need to know. But for me to try and tell you why it's cool will take too long. You just need to trust me that this is super cool and go read this. Should be the first trade coming out soon, and you can go get the trade of the miniseries, so you're already good. Rocket Raccoon. Alright, this is an issue designed to make my daughter happy because the first issue starts out not only with Rocket that my daughter loves, but yeah, he's on that wind glider thing, flying over the bugs. He's basically in Nausicaa, Valley of the Wind. And you know where Nausicaa, Valley of the Wind is in the Marvel Universe? Well, those giant bugs are actually lice on the scalp of Ego, the living planet. So, and that's just the cold open, as it were. Beyond that, he gets a call from Cosmo, the Russian space dog, that he owes a favor to from in an issue of Nova. And now he's sending him to help. Groot is not with him, so he meets up with this mech that only speaks in binary named Brute. And Brute is from a planet where war mechs were left as scrap, developed their own personalities, and have all become peaceful farmers and just started a little town. And someone found this town and went, holy crap, there's this planet full of just retired war mechs. So they just stole a bunch of them, and we're just going to sell them to have them refitted for war. And Brute wants to get his friends back. And it's important to Cosmo for reasons. One of them owns a bakery, makes cupcakes with dog biscuits on top. Cosmo doesn't want to lose his connection. So, I don't know what else to tell you other than, of course, you should be reading Rocket Raccoon.
Never want to lose a good baker.
Future's End number 32 continues to happen. Really, all I care about at this point is that it will culminate with Convergence. And I'll get to see some of my favorite iterations of characters that have long been forgotten by the New 52.
True.
Suicide Squad number 5. Really, really good. Art bit off. There's breakdowns up by Tom Derenick, and Rob Hunter does the finished art. Rob Hunter, inker, nice guy, met him a bunch of times. Feel bad saying wasn't thrilled with the way a lot of this came out, especially some of the faces. Apparently he likes drawing Amanda Waller. More detail is given to her. There's also this weird, I don't know what happened here, but there's this shower panel. And the way the inking is done on the arm, this is supposed to be like muscle tone, but it almost looks like it was inked more like she has a really skinny arm. And like this is supposed to be her, her boob and rib cage area. And it just doesn't work out. I think that this is clearly all supposed to be arm. And it got warped. Or maybe just that got inked weird. And no, I don't think whoever drew her gave her that arm.
Something didn't work.
Yeah, something's off there, and it just threw me out, and whatever. But story-wise, Who'd have thought that Black Manta being an addition to this team would be the greatest thing? I mean, I love Black Manta, but I didn't see how he was going to work in Suicide Squad. But he takes this shit very seriously, and whereas Harley doesn't. And they've got the new Reverse Flash, the Danny West Reverse Flash is on there, and they replaced Deadshot with Captain Boomerang, which pisses Deadshot off more than the fact that he's recovering from all of his injuries. And he's like, I'll get better. She's like, I don't need you to be better. I need you to be at 100%. And he's like, all pissed. But he's insult to injury as they replaced him with
Boomer.
With Digger. They've also got on the team some of the leftover from the Leviathan Talia al Ghul storyline in Batman. They've got Ninja Man-Bats as just like fodder on the team.
Awesome.
So, yeah. King Shark isn't here, but they've got Ninja Man-Bats that they always refer to as Ninja Man-Bats. Never just as the Man-Bats or, whatever. They're always Ninja Man-Bats. World's End number 10. I said last week that I was done reading the Earth 2 stuff, and I thought I meant it, but they still pulled it for me, and I didn't bother looking in my pile, and I bought it anyway. And it's still not doing it for me. Apparently Mr. Miracle is only just finding out in New 52 continuity that Darkseid isn't his actual father.
They'll still only have to take there.
So, yeah, you look nothing like me. But you look like my friend Orion. So there's that. And there's a Powerless, apparently the actual Kal-El. And they turned Huntress into a Fury. And it's just not doing it for me. It's just not. Nightcrawler number 9 continues to, like I said, I love Nightcrawler, so I keep making myself read this. But this continues to feel anachronistic and displaced in time, especially since at this point Chris Claremont just keeps going with that, because half of this book is flashback to, it's the
glory days.
Yeah, it's the he's remembered later. There's the team he knew. I don't remember Beast being on that particular version of it. When Rogue was in that outfit, I don't remember Beast or Iceman being there. But it's Beast, Iceman, Colossus, Mohawk Storm, original incarnation Mohawk Storm, and Guy Gardner inspired Rogue with the short hair, and Kitty. A whole lot of Kitty, who they flash back to like when she's a kid, and it's Chris Claremont writing it, so she's smarter and more wise and tempered than all of the X-Men combined, which is fine with me. I like Kitty, but
Kitty everywhere.
It's just, Chris Claremont has always had favorite characters, and they always, Storm, Nightcrawler, Kitty Pryde, always, and Psylocke always just kind of dominate all of his stories, and they do here. So it's literally, he just said, screw it, I'll just go back to what I wrote best. This was fun. Action Labs, Harold, Lovecraft, and Tesla. Who wrote this? Who are these people? Somebody give me a title page. Where is the title page? God damn you, comic books and your hidden title pages. Why? Here we go. It's all the way in the back. Written by John Riley, pencils by Tom Rogers, ink, color, and letters by Dexter Weeks. Very, very busy. It's exactly what it sounds like. And it stars a whole lot of people. H.P. Lovecraft is friends with, ready for this? H.P. Lovecraft is friends with Harry Houdini.
Yep.
Tesla is engaged, sort of, to Amelia Earhart. Amelia Earhart is about to get lost because of a device on her plane that some weird scientist who goes by the patent office to try and get his automatic pants and automatic belt patented from patent clerk Albert Einstein, who is friends with Tesla. And they realize that, they know that this device, Einstein's like, she's going to get blown way off course with this device on her plane. It's going to be weird dimensionals and, whatever. I don't know how to stop this. And the other guy's like, oh, you'll need, Lovecraft. He knows about all that stuff. So, with this as a supporting cast, Tesla and Lovecraft go off to save Amelia Earhart. Really, what the else do you need? I know that some people are like, oh, that's not a review, that's a summary. No, it's both, because that review should let you know that's already awesome. So as long as the art doesn't suck and the story holds up to the potential of the idea, this should be an awesome book. And guess what?
It is.
The art doesn't suck. The art's really good. And the story holds up to the potential of this idea. You know what that means? This is awesome. Kind of like the summary suggested. Why do you doubt me, my friends?
They know you.
They don't know me, but they're still right to doubt me. All New Ultimates continues to be mediocre, but likable mediocre. And a lot happens. Not all of which I can fully explain. And the next cover is kind of a Where's Waldo tribute. So that's fun right there. But I don't know, I'll just give you an honest little blurb of review. All New Ultimates, not the best comic out there, but it's fun and I like it. Rachel Rising, one of the best comics out there. Creepy fun, and I like it. We've got little girl, I see dead people. We already have a cast full of dead people, so she's in the right town for that. Rachel's a little disembodied at the moment, literally. Jet's almost getting lucky. And dead spirits are possessing people and making them do all sorts of interestingly horrifying things. And even making, when a spirit ends up in a bear and doesn't want to be in a bear, when a guy sees the bear, the possessed bear, and freaks out and drops his gun, the bear slides the gun over to the guy because the bear wants to die. Because the only way this thing can make the jump is when its host dies. So this guy freaks out, shoots the bear, and then the spirit host jumps out of the bear and goes into the guy, picks up the gun, and moves on. So
that's spectacular.
It's brilliant. And Brides of Helheim. Don't fall in love with the drugger, people. If you fall in love with the drugger, it will only hurt you, and it does. And you might end up becoming a Valkyrie. And if you're a undead Frankenstein-esque Viking creature who just hasn't moved on to death, if a girl who has a crush on you feels spurned and gets turned into a Valkyrie whose job it is to collect the dead for the Vikings, hell hath no fury, or in this case I guess Hella hath no fury, hell with one L, hath no fury, but she does have Valkyries. They're kind of like Furies if you really think about it. So we've got, he's finished his mission. He's gone off to bring back the guy that the witches need, the guy who taught them. The guy who taught them is like trying to, look, let's make a deal. He's trying a whole lot of bargaining. Ricard's not going for it. He's like, no, I got my mission. Don't care. And, there's Sigrid just still sitting there crushing on him. And it's a bizarre undead Viking love triangle because Cullen Bunn is awesome. Amazing X-Men number 14. Axis.
Meh.
Evil Nightcrawler versus good-intentioned Mystique. Possibly revealing that underneath her evil, homicidal, self-serving, bitch supervillainess persona, she truly loves her son and is proud of him, and can now finally admit it. And I haven't been a big fan of too much of the Axis stuff. This was a decent story. This was good. Who wrote this? Chris Yost. That makes sense. I like Chris Yost. All right, so straight behind. Army of Darkness in space. Cullen Bunn, Ash, space. The line, Hail of the Space King is there. Screwheads are thrown out, and through some possession. My hand, you bastards took my hand again. The robotic hand, the mechanical hand gets to turn on him.
What, really?
Yeah.
That's just excessive.
While in space.
Kind of like this.
Yeah, pretty much. So, it's Cullen Bunn on Army of Darkness in space. That's 1 + 1 + 1 = 50 billion. Okay?
I like that math, sir.
That's my math. Flash Gordon number 7. I love the new Dynamite Flash Gordon series. It is awesome. Awesome. So, one awkward panel, not on purpose, but one awkward panel. As a lot of the Hawkmen, especially Voltan, he's kind of plotting with them and doing, you know, it's good. It's so good. There's one moment they're all in like these natural hot springs, and just through an unfortunate positioning, I want you to take a look at Dale Arden, her arm, and then Voltan and his pose, and see if you can magic hand, see if you can line that up for them so they can see just a little unfortunate, awkward. Looks like she's plucking his feather, if you know what I'm saying. But art-wise, this is Evan Shaner, and Jeff Parker writing it, colored by Jody Belair, lettered by Simon Rowland. Hands down, my favorite Dynamite book. Hands down. Watch it. See my hands? They're down. Favorite Dynamite book. Mercy Sparks continues the indie cameos. She's got to finish catching some weird creatures to get them out of the way as Mr. E, from the comic Mr. E, but it's by what's his name? It always covers half his face. Whatevs.
Shadow?
No. The actual author always covers his face. Dirk Strangely always covers his face. But anywho, good story. I like Mercy Sparks. I always have. So I don't know what to tell you. This came out a month ago. I never read it, and I've had it, but never got around to reading it until number 2 came out. And that's when I remembered. Oh shit! I never read that month. Deep State by Justin Jordan and Ariella Cristantina. Alright, Ariella Cristantina and Justin Jordan. So good. There is a cop who really just wants answers to all sorts of closed case kind of questions. She's more curious than cautious, self-described. And when she describes herself this way to a man she finds in her apartment when she gets home. And he proceeds to explain that he's with no government organization and all government organizations. They'll all vouch for his existence, but he kind of works outside the framework of all of them. His job is to make sure secrets stay secret, make sure conspiracy theories stay theories, spread enough disinformation to keep people off the track, and basically, you know, he's like, I can give you all the answers, but I need you to help me make sure that no one else gets them. And with that, it turns out the Russians got to the moon before us, but they never televised it. And our televised moon landing was the 3rd and final Earth moon landing. There were 2 before it, because who the hell would televise the moon landing if you don't know if it's going to work? You don't want to have people see it not work. So you do secret moon landings. But it turns out the moon is alive, and it is not friendly. It is extremely hostile. And somewhere between now and then, the Russians, one landing, they were never able to get off the moon. But now their ship comes home, and something else is in it, and it attacks a small town, and our 2 are on, our agent and his rookie sidekick are on the case, and it is. I
already like it, but it's Justin Jordan.
It's Justin Jordan's kick-ass horror version of Men in Black. It's the best way to describe it, and. Justin Jordan, he took the Men in Black concept, and in the immortal words of Will Smith, Justin Jordan made this look good. And then finally, last but not least, Solar Man of the Atom, which continues to really be Solar Woman of the Atom, because the original Dr. Solar is kind of a ghost, pulling an Obi-Wan Kenobi ghost, giving advice to his daughter, who now has the power. They're fighting some aliens. It's okay. Of the Dynamite Gold Key adaptions, it's probably my least fave. And all right, that's it. Peace and thorns.